I'll just leave the room. Do you want me to just leave now? Okay, I'll leave now.
Michelle, the Witch of Moon's Lane, and Moyra Major. How to witch, bitch.
Welcome to another... What happened with my voice? Welcome to another episode of How to Witch Bitch Michelle, the Witch of Moon's Lane. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Hey.
Funny meeting you here. Now, before we get into today's episode, we've got lots of comments and feedback to run through. Today we're going to talk about shadow work, which is really interesting. And so we're going to really delve into that. But we'd like to say hello to, from TikTok, Amy, Karina S., Paige, Rufada, I do apologise. Sandra Martin and Alex on Instagram, Crimson and Dink. That sounds like a fantastic breakfast show. Missy BGC and Mrs. Stew Tattoo. Apparently everyone has to rhyme. I love this. This is great. Someone actually sent us a message as well, Crow Lovers Daily. It says, I don't have my ducks in a row. I have crows and they're at a pagan rave.
That looks good.
That looks like something we could definitely do.
Yeah.
Now, also, we've got an interesting Randall situation. So, in the past episodes, we've talked about questions from someone called Randall. Now, someone has sent us a message. Surprisingly, Randall has sent us a message. We're going to call this Randall Double R because that's what it seems like.
All right.
So, made a comment that we were soul sisters.
Yeah.
A day with you would be a whole new world. Yes, it would. we don't actually spend full days together because we're exhausted. They left a comment on Spotify and wanted to just say that I'm a female named Randall. Oh. I was named after my dad, so I've always been assumed as a male. The male witch Randall asked for meditation help.
Yes.
I asked for guidance help. So we've got a double up of Randalls, assuming that we only had one Randall. So she has said, my question is if you could clarify how to tell if you are a witch or a muggle interested in witchcraft.
Ooh, that's
Isn't
interesting.
that the same thing?
Yeah. Well, the thing is you don't have to have a line of witchcraft. It's just if that's what you feel you're attuned to. If you're attuned to nature, you're just naturally going to be gravitating towards witchcraft. You don't have to be born into it. A lot of people are, though. A lot of people come through spiritual lines and families and things like that. And a lot of people just wake up one day and decide that they have an affinity with Mother Earth and they want to come back and put the mother, religion's really patriarchal. It's about the father, and a lot of people are wanting to come home to mother. They're wanting to come home to sisterhood. They're wanting to come home to looking after the earth and having some control over their lives. A lot of people have lost control, especially through COVID, when we had a lot of our normal day-to-day things taken away from us, and especially the young ones, like the young Gen Zs that are out there. They're all really falling in and finding witchcraft because they're finding that this is something that they have some control over, how they manifest in their life, and so they're just coming back to the old. And we never went anywhere. We might have gone underground for a bit, but we're coming out in forces now. More and more of us are wanting to find Mother.
And it also seems as though more and more people are believing in it, experiencing it.
They're more open to it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's interesting what you just said, though, because in her message, she actually said that she doesn't have anyone close to her to lean in for guidance and mentorship. Mother was Catholic, father disowned her after mum died, and then also brother is Christian Catholic. I've never really felt like I fit in the world, and I still don't. I'm struggling to find my place in the world and where I fit in. I think you've found it.
And it's interesting how a lot of people, I always think the internet is halfway. It always came in, it's always that person that comes into a conversation halfway and then bullies you into believing that they know what it is. They don't go all the way back. If you actually go all the way back, for a long time, there was a lot of Christian witches. There was a lot of witches around that were coming from, they were trying to get the pagans into the churches, and so for a very long time there was a crossover of rituals that were done by Christians that were still bringing in the old gods and still bringing and manifesting. So a lot of people that come in and say, oh, that's witchcraft, go into a lot of the old churches and you'll see the pentagram, and the pentagram is not or the pentacle is not something that is actually should be feared. It's basically the top of it is the spirit, and the other 4 points, which is the 5 stars, are the 4 elements. And so if you believe in astrology and you even look at your stars, you're actually a pagan, because that's what they believed in. They followed the stars, the moon, the cycles of life, the earth, and wind, air, fire, water, all those things. That's what the pentagram is. And in old churches, they actually have the pentagrams up on their windows.
Well, thank you, Randall. Double R. Also,
X-rated.
Fit for Fuji, Fuji, I think, or Fiji. Maybe she's getting fit for Fiji. I'm not sure. Has just said that recently refound witchcraft during a difficult time in my life. Finding your pod, I feel it was meant to be. I'm learning so much.
I thought she was going to say she was trying our weight loss spell because we're losing weight. She's just refusing to drink that shit. That's why she's losing weight.
If you don't know what she's talking about, go back to the
That was her fault.
That was
She
disgusting.
made it all chunky. No, you were in charge of the
whatever.
blending and then said you drink
Blending.
it. I drank it and I smiled. I had crap all through my
You
teeth.
did, actually. It was very funny. It's one of my favourite parts. All right. We do love all your comments. We read all of them as well. So make sure that you please continue to share our podcast with those around you who love spells, tarot and stupidness. On today's episode, we are going to talk about shadow work. This is a practice of all witches.
Yeah, well, it should be actually a practice of everybody, regardless, because it's actually got a lot of analytical psychology in it. So Carl Jung, which was the founder, described shadow as the unconscious part of the personality that contains everything we've been taught is either acceptable or unsafe or unacceptable or unsafe to express. So in modern witchcraft, shadow work is a deeper healing magic directed towards inward. So it's about looking at your traumas, looking at the things that
You're
hiding. So it's the self that you often don't want to bring into the light. So it could be jealousy, it could be trauma from your past, it could be
Sexuality.
It could be healing emotional wounds. You know, you might pretend that you've gotten over a relationship or the fact that, you know, you don't have a great relationship with your mother or your father, or, you know, emotional childhood wounds.
Loss, all that kind of stuff.
All of that. And so it really is a spiritual practice that, you know, especially with people that are doing healing or doing the work that I do, shadow work is very important because how can you heal someone else if you're actually working where you haven't healed yourself? So it is bringing things up. And often I find, because a lot of people will say, well, I've worked on that, I don't have any shadow work. But then you'll go somewhere and, you know, you meet that person and there's something about that person that's really giving you the icks and you don't know what it is. Find out, because that is really a good way of finding out what still you need to work on in yourself.
And I guess there's a freedom to it as well. I think now that you've explained it, I actually think that it is something that I actually practiced a number of years ago. I had a very toxic relationship with someone in my life, and whenever the phone would ring, I would feel sick. Being around this person made me feel very uncomfortable. It was not a relationship that I could just sever. It was something that was constantly there, and I'm talking like years and years and years and years and years. So that was always making me feel sick, just knowing that person existed. At one stage, I met up with this person and I looked at them from different eyes and I looked at them from a different way, and then I felt pity for them, for actually the person that they are. And it's like it cured me. And it cured. So whenever I see that name or think about that or
You don't have all that.
I don't have all of the anger and
Resentment.
hatred.
Yep, that's
because that's working on. But there's such a freedom to it.
There is.
Everyone should be doing this.
Yeah, but a lot of people are too frightened because they think that once they open up Pandora's box, you know, maybe it's too hard to shut, that type of thing. But yeah, no, it's good to work on your inner self and just sort of see. And sometimes things will come up and you don't even think that, you think, oh, I'm sure I've healed from that. And then it comes up and you go, no, I haven't healed from that. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to continue to do it. Now, there are actually some
but
ideas.
Remember not to react. That's the whole thing. Take it and go, okay, and this is making me feel bad, but don't react in that moment because you might say something or do something that you'll later regret. Just sit with it for a while, and if you can meditate on it and then work out why is that affecting me, then we can sort of move forward with it.
Well, the witchcraft obviously is something that you can work on. Also, journaling as well as another one. So what is it that you're trying to hide? What is that you still feel triggered and all that kind of stuff? So identifying those triggers, looking at your reactions, and also what is causing you that anger or that fear or that tension, and then recognising, I think you said this before, criticising other people's flaws.
That's right.
Means that you're actually looking
You're
at
a
your
mirror.
own- yeah.
You're a mirror. So if someone comes up to you and they say, nasty things to you, it's got nothing to do with you. It's all about them. They're just reacting to some sort of trauma. And when you're actually clued up on it and you realise, then you'll go out and you'll just sort of pay attention, because there'll be a lot of people come up and say things, and then, normally you'd take it on board and go, yeah, that was a really nasty thing you said about me. But then when you realise that it's got nothing to do with you, that's their problem that they need to work on. It is very freeing, because it frees you up with other people's bullshit too.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the cast of Maths, the
I know.
current season.
Well, it's really funny because I don't know, but was it last week we had that Beck, and she was a classic. Lovely girl. She is a lovely girl, but I do believe that she was going through trauma herself, and her shadow, that's a classic shadow in motion. She came out and she was putting fires in everybody's relationships. That's actually shadow work in motion, someone that hasn't healed from trauma. And it's not necessarily the trauma of the person that's giving it to her on the show. There's been trauma from either past relationships where she's felt invisible or not seen or not heard or not worthy or not beautiful or whatever that is.
Isn't that also because didn't she go through, she was engaged for a period of time and then didn't get married because she knew that she would divorce this person.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure the story, but...
and also she's lost a great deal of weight as well,
there we go.
Which is always an interesting
All
thing.
right. So
I can't believe we're talking about maths on our podcast.
So it's interesting. That's an interesting thing. When you've actually dealt with something and you've always maybe been a larger person in life and you go and lose a lot of weight, you still can see yourself in the mirror as still that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, because I went the other way because I was really skinny and then I got really fat, and I still look at myself in the mirror and I just see this skinny fucking awesome bitch looking back at me.
Sensational woman. That's all I see.
I've got anorexia and
the other opposite
Yeah,
way.
opposite.
You should be practicing what you preach, and that, the positivity of looking at yourself and seeing a skinny bitch.
I do.
Good.
I do it every day. I'm talking to myself. I've been losing weight. See? I've been losing weight. But I feel like, you've got a lot of people do, they don't work it out. They don't see what's going on, and they just project it, and they try and make other people's lives miserable because they're miserable. And at the end of the day, when you actually are aware of it, it's interesting how many people don't get under your skin anymore.
All right, I'm going to try that this week. I'm going to try some shadow work this week. God knows what's going to happen. I apologise for any messages I send in the next week. Particularly after some Prosecco.
Sugar-free.
Sugar-free. Yep. All right. Let's check the stars, shall we?
Okie dokie. All right, let's just check the stars. So, Aries, this week asks you to slow down before charging ahead. A pause now brings clarity later. Focus on intention, action, rather than reaction. Taurus, comfort and stability call to you, but growth sits just outside your routine. Say yes to something slightly unfamiliar. It may open new opportunities. Gemini, communication is your superpower this week. Honest conversations clear misunderstandings up and strengthen important connections. Cancer, emotional boundaries are key. Protect your energy and prioritise rest. Not everything requires your nurturing attention right now. Leo, you're stepping back into confidence. Creative ideas or passions reignite, making this a powerful time to express yourself boldly. Virgo, organisation brings peace of mind, so clearing physical or emotional clutter helps you regain control and feel grounded. Libra, balance returns after recent uncertainty. Trust your intuition when making decisions. You already know what the right path is for you. Scorpio, transformation is underway, so let go of what feels heavy or outdated to make space for deeper emotional renewal. Sagittarius, adventure doesn't mean no travel. It means lots of travel, so exploring new ideas or learning something new will always refresh this week, and new perspectives are coming in. Capricorn, focus on long-term goals rather than immediate pressure. Steady progress now builds a lasting success. Aquarius, connection and community play an important role. Collaboration or meaningful conversations bring inspiration. Pisces, your intuition is heightened, so pay attention to dreams, signs and inner nudges. They're guiding you towards alignment. And that is your stars for the week.
Michelle, are you okay? Your stars were perfect. Or was it because I was out of the room?
You were out of the room.
I was making a salad.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's a surprised if we can do it again. No, good. Good job. I'll just leave the room. Do you want me to just leave now? Okay, I'll leave now. All right, that is it for today. I've got to go.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to share the podcast with your friends. Leave 5 stars. Leave us some amazing stories as well, and maybe discuss shadow work with us as well if you're working on this.
And paranormal. Has anyone got any paranormal? Especially if you're at the Gold Coast and you want me to come and investigate it and chase them out. I think that would be fun.
If you want Michelle to do that, she can do it.
Moira, you got to come with me. You're my partner in crime. I can't do it without you.
Busy.
You're not busy.
For ghosts, I am. All right, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Michelle.
Bye.
Woodwork Podcasts.